I only want Jimmy Butler if it's free Jimmy Butler. So Miami just says, I've had it, man. It's too much. But I talked myself, if you were with us yesterday, I talked myself through this. At first I said, yeah, I would take Butler for free. And then I started to think more about it, and I went, why would Pat Riley release Jimmy Butler? Why would he? And I mentioned Al Davis. Al Davis was vindictive. He's not releasing Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen's going to rot on the bench. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if it causes a rift in the locker room. He doesn't care if it's bad for chemistry of the team. He does not care. It's Al Davis v. Marcus Allen, and Al Davis is going to win. And it's the same situation here. It's Pat Riley, giant ego, I'll show you guy, versus Jimmy Butler, giant ego, I'll show you guy. And the guy with the most power in that situation is Pat Riley. So let's just go through it. Pat Riley decides, let's go through the illogical one first. Pat Riley decides, you know what, he's bad for this team. I don't like to use cancer for obvious reasons. My father passed away of cancer. You have probably dealt with cancer in your life. Saying that someone's a cancer, I don't love the term. I'm not going to get mad at you if you use it at all. I understand why people do, but I just don't. So but you know what I'm saying. But it's okay. So he's become such a problem that we're just going to let Jimmy Butler go. We just can't deal with it. He's negative. He's this, he's that. We're going to let him go. Then Jimmy Butler goes to a Golden State, a Phoenix, whatever team he goes to, and he's able to get a whole new fresh start, and he lives in a new city, and he's got a better opportunity, and he can play with either Durant or Curry or whomever he decides, whatever veteran of these old veteran teams. I'd bet a nickel or more that he's either going to go to the Lakers, the Suns, or the Warriors, because they're the old men team that need it. And there's Jimmy Butler fitting in like an old man at 35, even though 35 is not old, but in a basketball sense it is, and going to one of those three teams and hoping that it works, and then hoping because it then works that he gets a contract extension. That's what's going through his mind. Now let's look at Pat Riley's side of things. If I just suspend Jimmy Butler, I suspend him. So he's not around the team. He's not causing a problem around the team. He's out of sight, out of mind. And if anybody asks about Jimmy Butler, this is what Pat Riley is going to say. And this is why good organizations are good and bad organizations are bad. Because Pat Riley can sit down in front of the team, in front of the ownership, in front of the management, in front of Erik Spoelstra, the coaching, all these guys, and say, this is the deal. Jimmy Butler's been suspended for the rest of the season. And remember, Jimmy Butler's a free agent at the end of the season. So he's going to be gone at the end of the season anyway, and we are already halfway through the season. So Pat Riley tells the entire organization, we don't talk about Jimmy Butler anymore. Jimmy Butler's been suspended. Jimmy Butler's a free agent at the end of the season. Any reporter, any person, any whatever asks about Jimmy Butler, the answer is we only talk about the players who are here. What about Jimmy? We only talk about the players who are here. What about we only talk about the players that are here. So when organizations who are actually have their stuff together do that, bad organizations do, but Pat Riley can tell the players and start with Bam Adebayo that, look, Bam, you're the leader of this team in the locker room. So I'm going to put it on you to say, we're not talking Jimmy Butler. All right. You may have a personal relationship. You guys might be boys, whatever, but from now on, the answer from everybody in the locker room is we're not talking Jimmy Butler. And after a while, because the Miami media is not the New York media or the Philly media or any of that other media, New York wouldn't let it die. They just we're going to find Jimmy Butler. We're going to make it about Jimmy Butler because that's the biggest story around a team that's pretty boring. That's how media work. But Miami's just going to say, we're not talking about it. And they won't talk about it. And Jimmy Butler will be out of sight, out of mind. They can do that. And that's what I think they probably will do rather than allowing Jimmy Butler to just walk. Most organizations, bad organizations, would say, you know what, we just got to get rid of him. It's addition by subtraction. But I think Miami's just going to say, we're going to let you rot. I'm Pat Riley. I'm pissed off. I got a giant ego. We can control this narrative. People won't talk about you if we say you're suspended for the rest of the season. He's not at this point because what Miami is trying to do is they're holding out very, very, very faint hope that they can get something for Jimmy Butler, because if you look at his salary at around $50 million, and as we just pointed out from what Anthony Slater wrote, you're going to have to match that salary, even if you don't think it's much. And last year's Andrew Wiggins, or maybe even the year before's Andrew Wiggins, I would have no problem with that. But as we just pointed out, and I told you this was all going to kind of tie together after what Wiggins did last night, and we'll pop it up there again. But you've seen this all season long, 10 of 17, 27 points. Andrew Wiggins, outside of Steph Curry, has been the best player on the Warriors, and some nights better than Steph Curry. This is the best Andrew Wiggins has played in a long time. And even though Papa for a long time is like, I'm not trading Wiggins, I'm not trading Wiggins, I'm not trading Wiggins, I had no issue trading Wiggins for many of the last few years. Now in 2022, he was amazing. But when they won a championship, but everybody sat around going, that's the Wiggins, that's the Wiggins, that's the Wiggins. No, it's not. It hasn't been. That's why he was drafted first, and he's kind of aloof, and people get frustrated. Then he gets traded, and then you get excited, and then you think he's a first overall pick. Man, he's got to have something, and he does. When he is mentally right, it's not the physical. He's athletic. He can defend. He can team defend, one-on-one defend. He can do just about everything you need a guy to do if he's locked in. But too many times over the last couple of years, that just hasn't been the case. So, again, let me go back to Slater really quickly on this whole thing and look to the bottom there. Wiggins at 26.2, Payton at 9.1, and Kevon Looney at 8. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get rid of Looney and Payton, fine, whatever. But I'm not getting rid of Andrew Wiggins at $26.2 million. The way that he's playing right now, he's better than Jimmy Butler. Like, if you put Jimmy Butler in and you take Andrew Wiggins out, you're not better. You've moved chess pieces around the board, but right now, I'm just saying right now, maybe next year, certainly not last year. I'd have taken Jimmy Butler last year and the year before, but I'm not right now. And then the risk becomes, and this is something I talked about yesterday, if I get Jimmy Butler for nada, if Miami does what I don't think they're going to do, but they might, and just say, you know what, we don't want the questions about Jimmy Butler. We don't want to talk about him anymore. We don't want him on the team. We don't want it as a distraction because, let's be honest, Miami's not going anywhere with or without him. There are too many good teams in the Eastern Conference, Cleveland, Boston, New York. There's a lot better teams. So Miami's got to be realistic with itself and to think, with or without Jimmy Butler, we're going nowhere. So if they can get something for Jimmy Butler, something, anything, but you do have to match salaries in the league, then you've got to give up something significant for Jimmy Butler. And to me, this season, Andrew Wiggins, I would consider to be significant. Therefore, I'm not giving him up for Jimmy Butler, because you can disagree with me on this whole thing. But as of right now, if I replace and put Butler in the lineup for Wiggins, I don't think I'm better. And not only do I not think I'm better, Butler has been such a pain that I'm actually taking a risk. I'm not taking a risk if I pick him up for the minimum and Miami's still paying the freight, and then Jimmy's at pain in the butt again, and then I can just let Jimmy Butler go. But once I trade Andrew Wiggins, I'm thinking, okay, I've got this guy. He's got to play well. He's got to play nice. He's got some leverage on me because I just lost Wiggins, and I may have to re-sign him to that extension that I don't really want to sign him to because I just lost Andrew Wiggins. Now, unless Jonathan Kuminga can be that guy and take that spot, but Wiggins is Kuminga is more of a 4. So I've lost my 3. I've lost my guy who can defend. Because remember, Clay is gone and didn't defend. Steph is not defending that way. So Wiggins is my main defender on the wing. So I'm looking at Wiggins going, well, he's my best wing defender. And I know Butler can fill that role, but does he want to? Especially if I say, look, Jimmy, I don't think that extension's coming. Do then I have the same issue that Miami did and I just gave up Andrew Wiggins for it? I don't like it. Clearly, you can tell I don't like it. So if they're getting him for free, that's one thing. If they're having to put Payton and Looney and Wiggins in there, I have no interest in it. You want to release him, and I'm in the competition with the old man teams like the Lakers and the Suns to potentially get his services as a guy that I don't have to 100% rely on because I've got Wiggins on this team, and I bring in Butler for the minimum. And if Butler's a pain, then I just let him go, or I bench him, or whatever, or I suspend him, or whatever the case is. But once I make a trade and trade a significant piece for him, now I need him. And if I just pick him up, I don't need him. I want him to do well. He might be able to help me. He might be able to get me out of this 11th place thing that I'm in, this perpetual play-in game that the Warriors seem to be in every single year. He might be able to help me in that regard. That would be interesting. But not at the expense of now I need Jimmy Butler and I've traded assets to get him. I don't love that.